Good morning. This is Wren Smith, and I'm Interpretive Programs Manager for Bernheim, and I'm lucky enough to have one of our outstanding volunteer naturalists, Joe Rogers, here with us today. And he's going to be talking a little bit, in this series, he's going to be covering a lot of the different trees, the native trees we have at Bernheim. And one of our first ones that he's going to share with us is his love of the black walnut. So he's standing here near our education center, ready to go.
Okay, yes, as you mentioned, this is the black walnut wren, Juglans nigra, and if you wonder how the species name is nigra, it's like Greek or Latin for black, where the black walnut comes. If you cut this walnut, which is really highly desirable for wood for furniture making, and it is actually it's a great agricultural crop, and many people I've heard, like when they're 18 or 20 years old, they'll plant acres of black walnut, and they are, use that as a retirement. And when they get 70, 75, they harvest those trees. That becomes quite a valuable wood species. Walnuts typically like deep soil, but they do like limestone. They like a sweet alkaline soil, so they don't grow a lot in the shallower soils where you have a lot of acid. They want the upland, typically well drained. Now, black walnut as well, and I'm going to come around there and show you in a second, is a valuable tree, again, for furniture, but they also serve people and animals for a nut that we call the black walnut that has a wonderful earthy, sweet taste if we can beat the squirrels to them. Now, black walnuts, you can really identify them easily because, in fact, we can already see them starting to yellow up here on this tree. The leaves, which are compound, will fall early, and they will show you as hanging the little fruits or nuts that are hanging. If you can see that in the camera, that is an uncured walnut. This is what's hanging on the trees and will fall to the ground. Actually, this is a hull on the outside, and the inside is a hard nut that is black, which also gets its name from that. And I have cut a cross section of that nut as well. As you can see the indentations inside, and see the nut meats that are really valuable for human uses as well as for the squirrels. They have a real high oily fat content, which is just perfectly timed for the wildlife that are needing those food to fatten up for the winter, because it's going to get pretty sparse. In order to identify walnuts, they have a pinnately compound leaf, and what that is there is the dormant bud where it attaches to the branch, and these 8 to 10 to 15 leaflets are attached to the petiole, which looks to be about 15 to 18 inches long. That's one way you can identify them. Black walnuts really are late spring when they produce their male and female flowers, so a lot of times they are affected by a late freeze or frost, and a lot of times we may not even get a crop of our black walnuts for that reason. As a child, as people currently, there is a walnut processor down in western Kentucky that buys green walnuts by the hundredweight, and they process these for human food. And the shells, believe it or not, here's a secret that we're probably not aware of. The shells are used in the sandblasting industry. It's a biodegradable, very, very hard shell that is used in sandblasting, where the waste material is not the hard glass or sand that's spreading all over. They will eventually biodegrade back into the ground. So that is another byproduct of the black walnut. And lastly, we would like to tell you about how you identify the walnut from, especially the mature ones. They have this real striated bark that is deeply furrowed and dark. So when you see these in the woods and you kind of look up, it's always good when you identify our trees to look at the whole tree. Rather than the bark alone, you kind of compare the leaf, the form of the tree, which sometimes would be maybe vase-shaped or columnar, straight up and down. And these are just keys that we use to identify trees. And of course, the best thing obviously is going out and looking at them over and over and over and studying them and restudying them. And I still learn things today as I go out and take a look at trees. So thank you for tuning in for the black walnut, and stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.